will start on our backs. Make sure this is off. Come on down to your backs. And then you can straighten your legs out all the way if you want, or you can bend the knees and bring the soles of the feet to the mat. Whatever feels most comfortable to you right now. And then hands can come to the belly or down by your thighs. Once again, whatever is calling you in this moment, just rest your hands somewhere. And then we'll start today just by taking some nice deep breaths. And if it feels comfortable to you, you can go ahead and close your eyes if you already have. And if you prefer, you can keep them gently open. Maybe soften the gaze. And deepening the breath. Taking this moment to slow down a little bit. To relax the body, relax the mind. Carving out this little moment of your day for yourselves. And take one more nice big breath in and out here. And once you've finished your exhale, if you have your legs out straight, go ahead and bend them so that you have soles of the feet on the mat and knees bent. And then we'll draw the right knee into the chest. We're going to clasp the hands behind the thigh, above the knee, and then start to straighten that right leg, but not necessarily straightening it all the way, just beginning to straighten through that knee a little bit. And from here, we're just going to start to flex and point through that right foot. So getting some movement in the ankle. You might even notice as you flex, some stretch through the calf, and as you point, maybe some stretch or some lengthening through the shin, through the front of the ankle. Maybe. And if you'd like to turn this into some ankle circles, feel free. Maybe now that we've been here for a few breaths, you might see how it feels to start to straighten the leg just a little bit more, but there's no need. Just finding some movement through the foot, through the ankle. Good. And coming back through center. We'll rebend that knee. This time clasp the hands around the knee and draw it in toward the body. I'm just gonna move the right leg a little bit side to side here. And it's okay if the torso kind of starts to rock a little bit side to side with you. Although try to keep that left shoulder blade especially, rooted to the mat as much as you can, getting some movement through the hip here. And if you'd like to turn it into little semicircles, go for it. We'll do one more. Breathing nice and deeply. And coming back through center. Beautiful. From here, we're going to take that right leg, we're going to unbend the knee a little bit and come into a half happy baby. So we'll reach for the right foot with the right hand. If you'd like to grab the outer edge of the foot, you're welcome to do it like that. If you'd like to grab the big toe with your peace fingers, just find whatever version you gravitate towards or you feel like doing today. And we're going to leave that left leg right where it is. And we'll bring the left arm out to the left just as a little counterweight. As we let the right leg be nice and heavy. The right arm is heavy, drawing the leg in. And if you like, you can start to open that left knee to the left, creating a little bit more counterweight and a little bit more strange insect shape. You might start to notice a little bit of a stretch through the inner left leg, through the groin, through the adductor. Breathe in and breathe out. On your next inhale, if you let the left leg fall to the left, grab that leg with the hand, guide it through to center. If not, we'll just start to undo through the right leg, and then we're going to place that right ankle on the top of the left thigh in a little figure 4 position here. Take a breath in here. And as you exhale, let the lower body shift over, lean over to the left, and maybe the sole of that right foot comes down to the mat. So we're in our figure 4, but we've toppled it over to the left. And from here, if you'd like to turn it into a bit of a twist, you can reach the right arm to the right, and then just gaze either up toward the sky or over toward the right hand. Take some nice deep breaths here. Noticing how the hips feel, maybe in particular how the outer right hip feels in this position. And take one more breath. Inhale and exhale. On your next inhale, we'll come back up through center if you'd like to use the arms to guide the legs. These two. All right, we'll undo that right leg and just take a couple windshield wipers of the legs side to side here. And when you're ready, we'll come back to center and take the other side. So the right foot will plant on the mat, knee is bent, and we'll draw the left leg in toward the chest. Clasping the hands behind that left thigh, we'll start to straighten the left leg. And from there, we point and flex through the foot. You might notice that one of your legs is more open than the other. One hamstring is tighter than the other. This is perfectly normal. And if you'd like to turn this into some ankle circles, now is the time. Go one way and then the other. And we'll come back towards center. Good. Go ahead and bend that left knee. This time we'll clasp the hands around the leg, around the knee, and then draw that left leg in toward the chest a little bit. And we'll start moving that left knee side to side, opening up through the hip. Once again, we're keeping that right shoulder blade more or less planted on the mat, so less rolling over to the left, more moving in the hip joint. And if you'd like to make these into little semicircles, little rainbows of the knee. My neighbors are on. Breathe in and breathe out. Beautiful. We'll come back through center. And from here, we'll take that left leg and cross it on. Oh, no, I knew there was something else. We'll come into our half happy baby. So we're going to reach that left arm to the inside of the left knee for the edge of the foot, for the toes, whatever you like best. And then we'll let that left knee, left leg be heavy toward the mat. You can think about that left thigh is almost coming down toward the mat on the outside of the body, or if not the outside, the left edge of the body. So it's not in the center coming straight down to the chest, right? It's over to the left side. Shin is perpendicular to the ground-ish. And then from here, if you'd like to reach that right arm to the right, maybe the right knee opens to the right. And we breathe. And keeping that left foot flexed, the toes are drawing in toward the shin. One more breath here. Then we inhale using that right hand to press the knee back up through center. And we'll come into our figure four now. Left leg comes on to the right. That left ankle hooks right above the knee on the right side. Good. Big breath in here as you exhale. Legs float over to the right. So we're coming into our little figure four twist here. If you'd like to reach the left arm left, maybe also gazing left. Deep breaths here. Maybe eyes closed once again. Good. On your next inhale, we will slowly come back up through center using the arms to help the legs if you like. And then we'll bring both knees into the chest, undoing our figure four. Bring both knees into the chest. Give yourselves a nice big hug. Lift the head if you like. Chin in toward the chest, forehead to the knees. Big squeeze of the legs. And then from here, we're going to make our way up and over to a tabletop. If you'd like to rock and roll through the spine, you're welcome to do so. If you prefer to go over onto your side and then shift your way into a tabletop, then please do what feels best for you. Okay, from here, we're going to tuck our toes under here, all of them, all 10. Then we'll start to shift the hips back here into the heels, and we'll stay with the arms down on the mat here just for a moment, opening through the bottoms of the feet. Can be really intense for some people. If you're feeling like you want a bit more, you can always walk the hands in a little bit closer to the knees, and maybe from there you start to sit up, setting the sit bones down toward the heels. But if that's too intense, you can keep the hands on the mat here. And we'll breathe in and breathe out. And one more breath in and out wherever you are in this pose. And then we'll walk the hands, bring the hands back to the mat, walk the hands forward so they're underneath the shoulders. Release your toes nice and gently. Give the toes a little tap on the mat. And then we'll come into our first downward facing dog. Walk the hands forward just a little bit. Tuck the toes, lift it up. Downward facing dog. And from here, go ahead and pedal out through the legs here. Moving through the soles of the feet up onto the toes, and then heel down toward the mat. Does not need to arrive there, but nice big action through the feet here as we pedal in our downward facing dog. And take a couple more on each side. Nice big breath. Nice relaxed head. Letting the head hang. Then come on back through center. Big breath in. Lift the heels both at the same time. And as you exhale, send both heels to the right, getting a nice big stretch to the left side body as the hips stay high and lean over to the right. If you're confused, obviously take a look. We're up on the knife edge of one of our feet. Big stretch through the left side body. And then we'll come back through center. Big inhale. We'll have another chance if that was confusing. As you exhale, heels to the left. So feet are now facing to the left, toes facing to the right. And we stretch through the right side body, sending the hips toward the left side of the mat. Let's do one more each side. Big breath in through center, heels high. Exhale, heels to the right. See if you can puff into those left ribs a little bit here. See if you can make a little more space in that outer left side of the torso. Inhale through center, exhale, last one, heels left, big stretch in the right side body, hips to the left. Good. Inhale, back through center, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. Then as you exhale, we'll walk the hands to the feet. Hands to the feet. Good. Walk them all the way in. Feet are under the hips, toes point forward. Fingertips can come to the mat if that's accessible to you. Obviously, if you have blocks or something you can rest the hands on, you're welcome to put them underneath to bring the floor a little bit closer to you. But we are going to bend the knees a little bit, so that will also help. So go ahead and bend the knees. Bend the knees a little bit, fingertips maybe to the ground. And if not, you're always welcome to bring the fingertips to the shins as well if that feels more comfortable. Find something that works for you. From here, we're going to bend into one leg and shift the hips to the side, and then we'll bend to the other leg. So it's the same action that we do in our downward facing dog. We're just pedaling the legs, but in this position. So don't overthink it. Knees bend one at a time. I love it when people tell me don't overthink it. It's my favorite thing. Breathe in and breathe out. But really, one knee bends, the other knee bends. Take it a couple times. You really might feel this through the outer edge of the legs, so the IT band that runs down the side of the legs, maybe in the hips, or maybe not at all, and you're waiting to understand what's going on. But come back through center now. We're going to change it just slightly. We're going to turn the heels to point out a little bit and toes point in a little bit. This might feel kind of weird, like we're super pigeon-toed here. We're going to do the same thing. So everything else stays the same. We gently bend into one leg at a time. And maybe just that little movement makes you feel a little bit different. Maybe. See how it feels? Little bend, one leg, bend the other. Once you've done a couple, we're going to do the opposite. So heels come back in. This time toes come slightly out. And we'll just do it one more time. Bend into one leg and bend into the other. Bear with me here. Beautiful. All right, back through center. Now we're going to walk the feet out wider than hip distance to about our squat stance, toes likely pointing slightly out. And we're going to slowly lower the hips down into our Malasana, our yoga squat. And if yours looks different than mine, perfect. It should. If you're up higher and that is where your mobility is right now, perfectly fine. If you have a block or something you'd like to sit on, support yourself, also perfectly fine. We will not be here for super long. Take a nice deep breath in here. Press the elbows into the inside of the knees if that is something that you want to do. Breath in. As you exhale, hands come down to the mat. We're going to walk our hands forward as we kind of come out of our squat and bring our knees to the mat and untuck our toes. All right, however you need to get there. Knees come down, hips are above the knees. We're going to come into a puppy pose, walking the hands out nice and long toward the top of the mat and letting the head be heavy toward the mat. So hips are staying above the knees. Butt is sticking into the air. If you'd like more out of this shoulder opener, you can come to your fingertips. Chest is heavy toward the mat. We'll be here for one more breath. On the breath in, bring the palms back to the mat if you lifted them. Gently walk the hands in just a little bit, enough for you to come out of your puppy pose. And then we're going to join up back in downward facing dog, lifting the hips, coming back into our downward facing dog. Good. This time, let's find stillness. Let's focus on the hands a little bit here, pressing all of the knuckles into the mat. Really using the arms here, using the strength of the arms, the strength of the upper back and the shoulders to press into the mat. Let the head hang. Let there be some distance between the earlobes and the shoulders. One more breath here. Inhale. Exhale. On the inhale, lift the right leg high, three-legged dog. And as you exhale, big step forward, right foot to the outside of the right hand. Before we place our back knee down, which we're going to do, we're going to stay here for just a moment in this runner's lunge or various other names. And we're just going to shift a little bit forward and back here up onto the toes of the back foot. Moving a little bit into the hips here, the hip flexor, the front of that left leg. Maybe you turn this into some little circles. All right, when you're ready, we'll go ahead and rest that knee down to the mat. That's sensitive. Put the knee down on your mat. You can always double up your mat and place your knee on top, or place anything squishy under your knee. All right, from here, this is your lizard pose. There's a lot of options, and I want you to take what you need and take what feels good on your hips and your body this morning. The first one that I will offer to you is to stay right here. Maybe you come down to the elbows or to the forearms. Maybe you turn that right foot a little bit so the toe points a little bit more to the right, and then you start to open that hip. The knee starts to open to the right. A little bit more of a stretch in the outer glute of the right leg if you would like. You might even start to open the torso to the right side of the mat. Most importantly, finding sensation that feels good in your body, opening in the hips that feels good in your body today. And then just breathing in that position. We'll take one more set of breaths. One more breath in and out. And then slowly we'll make our way back up to the palms if we came down. We'll turn those right toes back to face the front of the mat. And then just before we take the other side, we're going to shift the hips back a little bit here, get a little bit of movement, straightening and bending on that right leg. So we'll come forward and back just a few times here. It's up to you whether you keep that right foot planted or if you'd like to lift it. Just kind of moving the hips after such a deep hip bend. I was looking for a cute analogy, a cute little metaphor for that, but I didn't find one. Okay, come back forward, beautiful. Tuck your back toes, plant your hands, lift the back leg back to your three-legged downward facing, and then right away into our downward facing dog. If you'd like a little bit of pedaling, a little bit of flushing the legs, take it. If not, we'll breathe in, lift the left leg high, everybody, and exhale, big step forward, lizard lunge, second side. Good. Before we drop our back knee down, just a little bit of shifting forward and back here, up onto the toes of the back foot, and then down again, on the tippy toes, rather, up onto the tippy toes, and then down to the toes. And if you'd like to turn this into some little circles through the head, you may. Good. And then we'll come back through center, lowering the back knee down, untucking the toes, patting the knee if you like. Then we'll take your lizard variation of choice on the second side. So once again, that might look like forearms come down. It might look like toes turn slightly to the left and leg opens to the left, opening that hip. And I want to encourage you to not just automatically take whatever you took on the first set. You very well might end up in the exact same position, and that's what feels good on both sides, but most people's hips are not identical, so taking this opportunity when we have two sides to truly see what feels best on each hip individually is not just good for your body, but it's also a nice skill. One more breath in. And breath out. On the inhale, use the hands to come back up to the palms. Use the arms if you came down. And then we'll shift back and forth here through the hips, straightening and bending the leg, flushing the leg. Sure, that works. Erasing the slate, flushing the legs, something like that. Just getting some movement after that deep stretch. Once again, of course, does not need to be a straightened leg, just a little bit of straightening and bending. We'll come back forward, plant the hands, tuck your back toes, three-legged downward facing, featuring a hip crack, and then downward facing dog, taking a nice deep breath in and breath out here. On your next inhale, we'll come forward, bring the knees to the mat, and shift over to a seat for our last pose of our practice, which went by in about 1 second for me. All right, I'm turning just to face you for ease, but you're welcome, of course, to stay facing forward. We're going to come to a seat with a little bit of a wide stance of the feet. We do this one a lot if you come to my class a lot, but feet are going to be in front of you, wider than the hips, knees are bent. We're going to let the knees fall over to one side into our 90-90. So knees are bent to 90, hence the name. Hip is also at 90. All right, a little variation of this one. We're going to turn the chest to face the right side. So it's facing that thigh that's pointing out in front of us, right? That right knee. And then we're going to bring the left hand down to that left leg. Palm can face up, elbow can be bent. Maybe you prefer you kind of clasp to grab the knee, whatever you like. And from here, we'll take a nice deep breath in, reach the right arm up. So right bicep by the ear, and maybe you start, if you want to side bend toward the left leg. Now, this might be really intense. In the inner left leg, kind of the groin area, the inside of the left hip. It might also not be. If it's not, you might see what it feels like to kind of lean a little bit forward, lean a little bit back, maybe even intentionally kind of press that left hip down into the mat. That might create a little bit more sensation, but also you might not. There's no need for it to be excruciating. In fact, it shouldn't be. It's just a type of hip stretching that we don't do very often. So sometimes it hurts a lot for people. It can be really kind of startling how much it could hurt or just be have sensation. But for other people, because we don't do it very often, it can kind of be more confusing than hard. Okay, we're going to move to the other side. Knees come to the left side. Once again, our right arm this time is going to come down to the right leg. And then we big breath in, reach up with the left arm, up and over, big side bend. And the nice thing about this one is if you feel nothing in the hip and that part makes no sense, you're still getting a great side bend through the left side and probably a hip stretch, even if you don't know it. Big breath in, maybe a little shift forward, a little shift back with the weight of the upper body, if you like. You might just see how that feels. Good. And then we'll inhale back up through center. Let's come back forward here with the two bent legs and just take a couple of gentle windshield wipers side to side before we finish in our comfortable seat. Whether that might be cross-legged for you or some other version of a seat. All seats are welcome. Palms to the legs, nice tall spine, broad shoulders, long neck, relaxed arms. If you'd like to close the eyes, we'll close with a deep breath in and out all together. If you'd like to breathe in through the nose and then a big breath out the mouth, you can join me in that. When you're ready, inhale and exhale.